Mediaworks confirms plan to disestablish multiple roles, dozens of staff impacted. Mediaworks has confirmed they plan to disestablish. Now, actually, I think this popped up this evening. Yeah, this is only 7:25 p.m. tonight.
Fresh.
Yeah, this is fresh. Media Insider understands the consultation process will begin this week, and some staff have been given as little as 72 hours to provide feedback. I wonder if that ever actually works. Like, I wonder if ever the management of a place go, oh, that's a good idea. No, we won't make you redundant. Like, I wonder if that ever works anywhere. Or they have to do it because legally they have to. But I just, I wonder. So they've been given 72 hours. One worker told Media Insider the changes put forward for consultation would affect teams throughout the company. It was made clear Mediaworks was losing money. The staff has said it appeared multiple people would, quote, miss out on a job, end quote, following the changes. A Mediaworks spokesperson told the Herald the changes come as the company attempts to, quote, evolve and adapt with the market. This is serious stuff, especially because a well-funded, certainly news media, is imperative in a democracy, right? Which is the truth. But the flip side to this is that they don't know what they're doing in this new marketplace. They don't. They're still running a model based on 1990s radio. Mediaworks people are. They don't know about the new world. They produce stuff that looks like it's digital because it's on the internet only, but they don't know how. They haven't picked up on how to do it internationally. What they're basically doing is radio on the internet. They're not doing an internet/digital product, and this is part of it. This is part of the reason. As part of the process, we're reviewing the structure of some of our functions to ensure we're in the best shape to meet customers' needs now and into the future. The proposals include changes of reporting lines, the disestablishment of some roles and the creation of new roles. If roles are confirmed as disestablished, we will also explore redeploying options in other areas of the business. It's a fantastic business word salad, isn't it? These discussions are confidential and we do not intend to comment publicly while we work through the proposals together. It's understood the rationale for the cuts includes Mediaworks for the second year in a row posting a statutory loss, and that going forward ad spend remains depressed across the market. Not dancing on anyone's grave. It's sad news. It's bad news. Media needs to thrive. A well-functioning media is essential in a democracy. But I'll say it again. Overheads too high, don't know how to do new media, still using an old media model, and homie ain't with it. People ain't with it like they used to be. Joey, when we had meetings at Mediaworks, you go in, and we've said this before, their FOIA would cost $250,000. $100,000 to $200,000 just for their FOIA. It's like, this is what do you think? That's a salary for one of these people you're about to disestablish. It's just a Give us a call, Mediaworks. We'll tell you what to do for a fee. Maybe you can help us pay for our printing equipment. This is not really a topic for news tonight, Chewy, but when I think Mediaworks, I think radio, because that's by and large what they are. And you've been in that world. What are your thoughts?
It's strange. Like when I went into radio, graduated my qualification and went straight into the industry. It was only then that I realized that I was probably about 10, 15 years too late for what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And at that stage, radio especially was transitioning away from having maybe a nationwide brand, but regional hosts.
Yeah.
You had stations out of Christchurch and Hamilton and Dunedin and all of that sort of stuff. And at that stage, they were condensing everything down to a nationwide brand with a host team out of Auckland. Like, it was already condensing down. And that's what they say. They're giving these people more and more salaries because they're representing the brand nationwide. I think they need to go the other way. And I think what we're doing is kind of showing that, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I did when I got out of the industry was I set up almost a micro radio station.
Low power.
It was very much central Dunedin, playing whatever the fuck I wanted to play, and building an audience that way by being hyper local. Is that a solution to Mediaworks? Is it too late? I don't know. But there's people like us producing content and reacting to things very, very quickly. Okay, a big part of what we do, we rely on those news producers, those guys that do have the time to go out and hunt down these stories. And this is why I sort of freak out whenever I see these bigger players having to get out or having to cut down and having to trim down their stuff that chase down these stories.
Yeah.
Is we can't carry that water. And if there's less people hunting these things down, then all I can see is these corporations and these politicians and people that need to be scared that there's eyes on them. That's the thing that keeps them honest, are now less scared. They can hide more from us.
100%.
And for everyone that is rubbing their hands with glee and going, oh, well, they're woke anyway because they don't agree with me. They're not seeing the big picture. It's something we should all be concerned about.
And you're right. I mean, I think about Paula Penfold and those people who are still doing stuff with stuff and how essential they are. And we're not doing this story tonight, but I've got a bookmark to maybe have a look at. You know, have we heard anything about this story on mainstream media? I've seen Jordan on TikTok do a pretty big expose on one of them. Controversial human rights commissioners weren't recommended by hiring panel. Stephen Rainbow is chief human rights commissioner. Gail Pachicho. I looked up Gail today. She seems pretty solid actually. But Melissa Darby as race relations commissioner. There's some these two, Melissa Darby and Stephen Rainbow. I think Jordan Rivers, we played it here once, said someone in charge of human rights who doesn't believe all people should have human rights from his positions on Palestine, that sort of stuff. But this is if you had, let's just be silly, if you had spare investigative journalists lying around, they'd be on this in a heartbeat. But because there's not enough to go around already and it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, that story hasn't really come out well enough yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I saw the outcry on social media when those two were appointed.
Yeah, social media.
A laundry list of like, well, this is why people are concerned about Stephen Rainbow. He's not an ally of the trans community. And he's had these concerning things he said about Israel and stuff like that. And it's taken this long for someone to sort of pick it up and run with it and run down some of these leads. And that's the thing, when there isn't people chasing down these stories.
Yep. Now
you're going to lose the capacity for it.
Now add that perspective to the government. People aren't chasing down those sorts of stories. Of course, they're not chasing down other stories. Talking last night about why is Labour such a small profile at the moment, perhaps, and wonder if one of the reasons is there ain't enough reporters left to be covering everything. So they have to take the top 2% of stories, and that's mostly going to be government stories. I mean, I think the government's always going to get more press, but that could be a part of the reason.
And then you have to factor in the commercial sensibilities of like, well, the stories we want to run have to be the ones that are going to generate clicks. Now, we mentioned Paula Penfold. We've had her on the show with her excellent Fire and the Fury investigation into the parliamentary occupations and stuff like that. She's done phenomenal long format work on Chinese influence in New Zealand and a couple of other stories. But these are not things that you just go out and get a couple of quotes, smash it out in a week, 500 words or 1,500 words or whatever. She is doing long format investigative journalism that does not pay off, like in a commercial sense. You know, you had someone working on something for 3-4 months, and then it's going to generate clicks and ad spend for let's say maybe a week of eyeballs. Like the math doesn't math on that. And that's what we get if we have just a solely commercial focus on this sort of stuff. This is why the Public Interest Journalism Fund was established, as a recognition of this work is important and cannot be left just to market forces. Because when it comes down to that, we'll just have the front page of stuff going, here's 15 cute cat gifs. That's going to generate the clicks.